All right, so we live, y'all. Just before we, let me see something. Let me go to my channel. Shit, I don't know what the fuck this shit. Every time I download something, these little things be popping up in the corner of my damn screen. The hell? Let me see something. All right, okay, we got 6 people watching it.
All right.
We got. Well, I'm waiting till we get at least 30 people up in here, man. This is real information, man. Peace, peace, salute, nonetheless, my brother. Peace. I didn't even know he had the shirt, man. That's what's up, nonetheless, man. I appreciate you, my brother. I appreciate you. I like that. Tell me how did it fit? How did the shirt fit? Peace, peace, killer white supremacy and coons. Peace, Carl. Yeah, Carl, we finally caught up with old boy yesterday. Shalom, shalom, Rod. Star Strike, peace. Oh, it fit good? All right, that's what's up, man. Y'all, I appreciate you nonetheless, man. I really do, my brother. And thanks, Ghost. I appreciate you, man. Remember, man, this is a crime scene, and we're unfolding the crime scene. Don't know about touch nothing until everything is dusted off properly. Peace, Master Dark, brother. Peace. Hey, Carl, that shit was funny as hell yesterday. Let's get it, yo. Let's get it. Let's get it. I'm gonna build. I'm gonna build with y'all in a minute, though. But we're gonna try to get this rolling. Um, yeah, we back, y'all. All right. So what we doing is this is the Encyclopedia, the American Aborigine contribution to the world. This is part 5. We are on the M's, and let me see. I'm going to start with maple syrup, right? Hey, y'all. I'm gonna go back to the chat. Everybody, shout outs. I appreciate everybody coming through as usual. Let me see. I said I was gonna start when we get 30. All right. Well, we got 27. Wait till we get like 3 more viewers. Um, yeah, man. Like I said, this is like you said. This is a crime scene, and to unfold the crime scene, we got to go over everything. Especially this encyclopedia tells a lot because, like I said, yo, you ain't gonna learn this history nowhere. Ain't nobody gonna read this out verbatim. No one gonna give you all the information. So this should definitely be something that is shared. You know, I mean, I'm satisfied with the views that we getting. Always wish it could be more views, but man, listen, you just gotta appreciate what you got for why you got it, man. It ain't, you know what I'm saying, no reason on trying to be greedy or trying to, you know what I'm saying, expect more. I just appreciate the people who come through and the people who enjoy the videos. But this right here is gonna be a master. This is gonna be a master jam right here, man. A heavyweight jam, in other words. So we got 26 viewers, man. Let me go ahead. I'm gonna start it off, man. All right, so we on M's, and like I said before, this is the Encyclopedia of American Aborigines contribution, 15,000 years, and this is part 5. And I'm starting from the M's, and I am on maple syrup and sugars. All right, let me take the gum out of my mouth. Give me 1 second. All right, all right. So I say maple syrup and sugar, pre-contact, North American, Northeast cultures, 4 varieties of maple. Okay, it say grows throughout what is now the eastern United States and Canada, as well as the upper Midwest. They were routinely harvested by the American Aborigines for the sweet sap they yielded. The Aborigine people drank the sap and also devised the technology to transform the watery liquid into a thick syrup and sugar that they use to sweeten their foods, especially dishes made out of corn. Maple sugaring season would lasted several weeks during the spring, was so important to the Chippewa. It's a tribe in the upper Midwest, named a month after, I don't know how to pronounce that word, but you see it right here. It's a which means moon of the Algonquin speakers who lived along the St. Lawrence River region called maple syrup. It's a which means drawn from wood. It's a both the Iroquois and the Chippewa taught the American colonists how to tap the trees, and make syrup and sugar. All right, it's the unlike refined sugar, maple syrup, which is primarily sucrose, contains the mineral sucrose is table syrup, y'all. All right, so you got when you're dealing with glucose, you got four different kinds. You got sucrose, fructose, lactose, and glucose. All right, and I believe it might be one more. But yeah, so sucrose would be table syrup. It say contains the mineral calcium, potassium, phosphorus, magnesium, no, manganese, magnesium, and iron. And magnesium is very essential to the heart. It also contains riboflavin, pantothenic acid. All right, it's niacin, biotin, and folic acid. It say although silver, red, and ash leaf maple trees produce sap that could be syrup. It is less sweet than that of the sugar maple. It says whose colorless sap contains 3% sugar. Sugar maple must mature for about 40 years before they are ready for tapping. The renewable resource. These maple trees produce about 12 quarts of sap a day. It say and continue to produce. Sorry, I got a lot of noise going on in the background. It's throwing me off a little bit. Let me just go back over that. These maple trees produce about 12 quarts of sap a day and continue to produce this amount for a century during an entire sugaring season. One tree produces from 35 to 50 quarts of sap. When it is boiled, this amount makes 1 to 1.5 quarts of maple syrup. All right, so I say the Iroquois cut a V-shaped incision in trees and then inserted reed and concave pieces of bark for tap. They collected the sap in the birch bark buckets. It's a next to their concentrated. Let me see. It's a concentrated. They try to make these people right here. But let me tell you something, right? My father, he always used to eat out. What's the alligator syrup? He used to love alligator syrup. He used to always buy that shit. Now I know why. Because that was something that they was eating, and they tell you northeast. Northeast that's like up by Canada, and southeast. That's where we at. So he always liked it maple syrup. My father from Georgia, he always ate maple. Never bought none of that Aunt Mom shit or none of the table syrup or none of that. He always bought alligator syrup. If y'all know what alligator syrup is, it's a form of maple, right? So, we know that's indigenous, all right? So we're gonna go down to the next one. I ain't gonna read more of that. Y'all pretty much know what maple syrup is. So Jag, you with us?
Yeah, I'm with you, big bro. You already
Okay,
know.
you wanna touch on this medicine?
Yeah, we can.
Or you know what? Let me I'm gonna touch on medical research, and then you can have the medicine. And if you want to go further on, you could go on further on. I'm gonna just touch on this medical, unless it say massage, marabus. That's musical instrument. All right, massage. All right. So medical research. All right. So medical research is a scientific study of diagnosis, treatment to prevent an illness. It can be conducted in order to. I got sent Chief the link to. All right. I say learn the cause of disease of medical condition to develop a cure for a particular illness or to modify an existing treatment so that it will be more effective. Aztec physicians routinely engage in medical research using an empirical method of scientific inquiry. Their botanical gardens serve as research centers. See the Garden of Botanica. It's say in his book, like medicine, health, and nutrition. Oh damn! Hey, mute your mic for me, Jaguar.
All right.
All right. This kind of noise kind of throwing me. I got some noise going on in my background too, man. That shit throwing me off. Yo, I'm sorry about that. So Bernard Ortiz, it's a experience in the garden. It say was reflected in the Aztec extensive and scientifical, accurate, accurate botanical and zoology taxonomy. Taxonomy. It say the garden where also used for medical research plants where were giving free was given free to patients on the conditions that they report. The results and doctors were encouraged to experiment with various plants. Since medical knowledge was passed orally from healer to healer in other North American Aborigine cultures, no direct evidence exists that medical research was conducted and systematically as that done by the Aztecs. However, it is clear that the American Indian healers possess sophisticated knowledge of of their properties and correct doses of the medical plants. The North American Aborigine used the botanical oral contraceptive, contraceptives orally, and saying routinely used reduce harm if not given in the correct doses. The sophistication of their medical knowledge indicates that they are astute observers of the effects of the botanical against illnesses. Now, understand this, right? Why it's so important that you know about herbs, right? Even like, all right, let's say something like golden seal. Now, if you don't know a golden seal, you can golden seal hurts you. It can help you and it can hurt because you're only supposed to take golden. You can't take golden seal no longer than 7 days at a time, and you can't give golden seal to like a pregnant woman. What'll happen is it'll mess with the fetus. And a lot of things that give a lot of these women like they will make the women lose the baby with certain herbs. So that's the reason why it's definitely important that even that they know about that and that they at least observe the amounts that was given. So I'm gonna pass it on to Omek and he gonna touch on medicine. I'm gonna mute my mic.
All right. Let's get it, man. Medicine. Free contact. North American, Mesoamerican, Circum-Caribbean, South American cultures. All right. Medicine is the science of diagnosing, treating, and preventing diseases. It is also concerned with maintaining health. American Indians were sophisticated healers, relying on a number of botanical drugs that remain in use today, including guayacum, ipecac, kaolin, and quinine. Indians of both North and Mesoamerican routinely use antibiotic medications. The Plains tribes of North America used antiviral medications as well. The Aztec, whose empire was established in 1100 AD, performed medical research, recording the medicinal uses for at least 1,200 plants. The pre-contact American Indians of Mesoamerica were the first people in the world to develop a public health care system and public health hospitals facilities, which today are designed for people who cannot afford health care at regular medical facilities, as they were for pre-contact Aztec also. Aztec physicians were specialists in areas such as obst- obstetrics, the ears, and and dentistry. Aztec eye specialists perform cataract surgery. Say, see also cataract removal. Indigenous physicians of the Americas demonstrated extensive anatomical knowledge and understood how to set bones. So see also orthopedic techniques. Treat wounds, prevent infections. See also asclepies or sepsis, as well as perform complicated surgeries such as arthrocentesis and the removal of cataracts from the eyes. Father Bernardo Sahagún wrote of the duties of the Aztec physician in Historia General de las Casas de Nueva España, General History of the Things of New Spain. The true doctor is a wise man. He imparts life. A tried specialist, he has worked with herbs, stones, trees, and roots. His remedies have been tested. He examines, he experiments, he alleviates sickness. Let's end quote. The medical practices he described were well established before European contact and stand in sharp contrast to the limited understanding of Europeans who, until the late 1700s, were generally ignorant of the causes of disease. They held that illness was divine punishment for sins, and because of this view, the sick often went untreated in Europe. More advanced European physicians adhered to the teachings of Claudius Galen, an ancient Greek physician, calculated AD 130 to 200, who believed that illness was caused by an imbalance of bodily fluids or humors, or as these fluids were called. When doctors in Europe gave medical assistance, their treatment of choice most often were bleeding, vomiting, purging, and blistering. Although they use botanicals to treat illnesses, they often combine them with ingredients such as blood, dung, and urine. Beginning in the 1600s, they added metals such as lead and arsenic to their medicines, doing their patients more harm than good. Okay, so did y'all hear that? You know, uh, but either way, um, blood-letting, harsh emetics, and blistering, burning the skin until it blistered, burning the skin until it blistered were also standard treatments in Europe. Medicine was a specialized endeavor for the Aztec. Not only were the general practitioners called tisitors, but also eye doctors, Teixpatli or Teixpatli, dentists. I'm not even gonna try that one. and ear doctors, uh, Nakazapti, interns, Talana Te Pati Tisito, surgeons. I'm not gonna try that one either. And herbalist pharmacists. The medical practices the conquistadors and colonists brought to the Americas from their homelands must have seemed barbaric to the Indian peoples they encountered. Susan Neighbor Turkel writes in Colonial American Medicine, ignorant of medicine, they, the in quotations, the colonists failed to cure most ailments and frequently inflicted harm on themselves when they tried, unaware of germs they could not see. They spread infection.
Boom. Damn. So what I get out of that is, I get a lot, man. I get a lot. First of all, we create the first ever health departments, right? And then you hear a lot of fear why people don't like to go to hospitals. Well, goddamn, they ran by the same colonists that don't know what they doing. Of course, we not gonna go.
Okay.
Yeah, that's deep. Yeah, definitely deep.
Y'all want me to keep going?
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Um, yeah, go ahead. Why not? Go ahead.
All right. Says in general, the health of indigenous Americans before contact was much better than that of the Europeans at the time. Herman Viola and Carolyn Margulis, author of the book Seas of Change, the story of cultural exchange after 1492, noted the comments of one Indian who lived before the European invaders. At the top right click, man, invasion. There was then no sickness. They had no aching bones. They had no high fever. They had then no smallpox. They had then no burning chest. They had then no abdominal pain. They had then no consumption. They had then no headache. Infectious diseases were rare, in part because people in North America lived primarily in small settlements, and in part because, except for trade, they did not have extensive contact with people outside of their groups. The world's leading infections were the byproduct of the rise of agricultural and pastoral peoples in the Eastern Hemisphere, where humans began living in dense, often sedentary, and usually unhygienic concentration, according to Viola and Margulis. That's what they said. Another factor that promoted lower rates of disease was an emphasis on personal hygiene and sanitation.
Mm.
Daily bathing was routine among indigenous people throughout the Americas, as was disposing of human waste far from villages and camps. The colonists, most of who rarely bathed or washed their hands, dumped their slop buckets into the street, spreading disease among themselves as well as among American Indians. Good, good nutrition also helped to keep American Indians relatively healthy before the European invasion. The indigenous people of North America ate foods high in vitamin C that guarded against scurvy. Even inland culture groups included sources of iodine in their diet, preventing goiter, a condition that was epidemic among Europeans. They see also goiter prevention. European colonists quickly learned to rely on American Indian remedies. European colonies quickly learned to rely on American Indian remedies. Many Indian botanical medicines were adopted into the U.S. Pharmacopoeia, a list of available drugs sanctioned by the medical community. By the beginning of the 1800s, non-Indian botanical or herb doctors began using herbal remedies learned from the American Indians to treat patients. As support for their practice, they pointed to the discovery of quinine as a treatment for malaria and digitalis, a heart medicine that a heart medicine the Indians derived from foxglove. Non-Indian enthusiasm for Indian cures led to the creation of patent medicines. See also medicine patent American Indian influence on pharmacology. All right, gotta get there. Nevertheless, Benjamin Rush, convinced that bloodletting work, refused to believe that anything of benefit could be learned from the American Indians. We have no discoveries in the materia medica to hope for from the Indians in North America, he wrote in 1774. It would be a reproach to our schools of physics if modern physicians were not more successful than the Indians, even in the treatment of their own diseases. His opinion ran counter to reality. So, as y'all see there, I mean, come on, man. That's, I don't understand. I can't even understand a mind state like that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how to speak on that. It's just total idiocracy and buffoonery, for somebody to want to do shit the wrong way and make it out stand something that's doing something the right way. Get the fuck out of here. Historian Fraser Symington, comparing non-Indian and Indian medical practices in the 1600s, wrote in the Canadian Indian, the Iroquois excel in their treatment of wounds, fractures, and dislocations, and their herbalists provided a great fund of knowledge to Europe. Shout out to the Iroquois nation. You know what I mean? Let's see also, anesthetics and all that good stuff. Got a whole list of stuff, you know, all the medications, pretty much method, therapy, arthritis treatments, of course, Cara Sagrada. Uh, it's got a major list when it comes to medicine. So it's letting you know medicine is in this topic.
I should say stretchers, therapeutic touch, which we already looked, and that's basically a form of massaging, snake bite, skin grafting, um, prescription, pauses. The list goes on and on and on. And like I said in the previous videos that we done, the European ain't come up with shit. Everything from you, and the only thing he did was create commerce out of it. He stole the idea from you, marketed, and now he's getting rich off it while we sitting in here looking stupid and going to work for him. He's creating institutions off of the things that you created, and we work for them. So shout out to Jaguar for that, man. That was beautiful. Let me see what else we got. All right, so you got, if we made medicine, then we have to make the pattern and go with it. I'll read this paragraph right here and we can keep it moving. Matter of fact, let me see something. I'm gonna read medicine kits. All right. So it said medicine kit is a collection of instruments intended for the treatment of illness. The doctor bag was a commonplace among the prehistorical Aboriginal Americans. They say the first enact so-called doctor bag. Let me see. They say found by archaeologists in the Americas belong to the ancient Paracas culture that arose in what is now Peru in about 1300 BC. The bag contains several obsidians. It's a scopel blades and spatulas. They say that was made from sperm whale teeth. Interesting. It say in addition, it contained cotton balls. Mute your mic, Chief. Your peace, Chief. What's up, brother? So it contained cotton balls, cloths, bandages, and threads and needles. It say the latter was presumably it say intended for surturing. It say see surgery. Pre-contact American Aborigines use white cotton balls, bandages, gauze, and cloths for dressing wounds and sores for surgery. All right. So now you know these people ain't creating nothing, man. Only thing they did was steal your ideas and then create patterns. And here we are now. We working for these people. And you know, the biggest people who basically tap into a lot of the medical industry are us. So-called Aborigines, as well as a lot of people from the Caribbean or whatever. So, you know, there you have it, man. And like, you know, like I said, man, like I said in the previous videos, this encyclopedia right here is something that, like I said, everybody should have when you're dealing with your history. We already know what the people look like here. We can go to the Mayan culture as well as all these other cultures that arise, and we can go and see that these people was melanated. They was not the people that they putting in our face. They're not the people that they putting in this book. And to tell you the truth, we should come up with a class action lawsuit, bro. Every time they show one of these Mongoloids, because every time they mention a Native American or Indian, they always show you these Mongoloids. And the stuff is starting to really get under my skin because I'm like, yo, we know that these people are not responsible for this shit. So they taking your culture and giving it to people who really wasn't even responsible for none of this stuff. They was not even here at that point in time. All right, but I digress, man. You want to touch on megaphones and metal casting, AP or Jaguar?
Yeah, I can touch on it. If AB, you want to hit on that? Or I hit it. Ain't nothing but a little paragraph right quick. All right.
Yeah, I'll touch on something. Give me a second to set my computer up again.
No doubt. Okay, all right. Take your time, brother. All right. Chief Holiday, what's good with you?
All right. I guess I'll go ahead and hit it right quick. Megaphones, pre-contact North American Northeast cultures. A megaphone is a conical or funnel-shaped device used to amplify a person's voice. The Chippewa, the Anishinaabe, a cultural group living in the Great Lakes region, use small megaphones of birch bark rolled into a cone to call moose during hunts. See also calls, animal, and bird. The Iroquois also used birch bark megaphones called speaking tubes so that everyone present could hear speakers during political meetings or caucuses. Now that's dope right there. That little, just that little brief little, it's like a microphone basically. Um,
Yeah, that's the shit that you see. Like people be talking on them big megaphones, like the police or like these other. And like I said, yo, these people stole everything from you. They stole everything. They marketed everything, and these people ain't create nothing but death and diseases. And you know, I know y'all troll, y'all be. I know you Europeans be listening, and I know that it's not all Europeans, but guess what? You part of the system in which that they created. So when they hide our history and they try to act like they created everything and don't give the credit to the person who made it, then they just as part as covering up the crime. So with that being said, somebody want to touch on something else?
Yeah, if you wanna, I'm pretty sure do. I mean, you wanna hit on this
Yeah,
Mercury right quick?
yeah, I'll touch on some.
Oh, go
Where
ahead.
we at? Where we at? Metal casting or we at Mercury?
Yeah, right at Mercury, but you know, it's up to you.
I'll go in on Mercury. All right, Mercury. Quicksilver cinnabar. Cultivated in 1500 BCE all the way up to 1500 AD. South American, Andrea, and Mesoamerican cultures. Mercury, Hg on the element chart, is a metallic element that is silver in color, sometimes called quicksilver. It is a heavy element that is very poison and remains in a liquid state at room temperature. Mercury is occasionally found in a pure form. It can also be obtained by extraction from cinnabar, a red colored natural occurring compound of of mercury and sulfur. Ancient South American Indians found deposits of the element both as mercury and cinnabar. The Inca, whose empire was established about 1000 AD in the Andean region of South America, mined mercury. One of the deposits they mined it was located in the area called uh, Hanukkah Valley. I ain't even better pronounce. I apologize. In the highlands of the present day Indies. After the Spaniards conquered the Inca, they continued to use Indian miners to extract mercury from the same site. The ancient Mayan, whose civilization flourished in Mesoamerica starting about 1500 BC, were able to transform cinnabar into mercury. Both mercury and cinnabar have been found in Mayan sites where religious rituals took place. According to author Robert J. Shear, mercury is a mercury is a liquid metal. There we go, y'all. So went in for mercury for y'all. Y'all want me to keep going?
Yeah,
You know,
keep going. Yeah, touch on if you want to touch on metal casting, that's something that need to be touched on because they
Yeah, we'll
think
tell.
that we wasn't wielding metal here. So
Right. We had already showed you we were the first metal workers earlier in our previous episode. So we'll get into some of the castings and the shapes and forming of molding. So metal casting cultivated about 200 BCE, South American Andhra cultures. Casting is a shaping of objects with molded metal. It involves making the model slightly larger than the desired object to allow for shrinkage. This also allows the final product to be filled or farther shaped. Once the metal workers has made the mold, it is placed into a wet sand and it makes an impression. Melted metals is then poured into is then poured in and is allowed to cool and harden. When it's cool, the item is removed from the sand. Pre-Peruvian metal workers, you get it? Pre-Peruvian. So we talking about during the time of Corral. Pre-Peruvian metal workers who had been working on gold since 1500 BCE did not develop the process of casting until 200 BC. They cast with copper and used the process primarily to make weapons and tools for agriculture work. Later, Montaglers built upon the basic casting process to develop the technique of lost wax casting, which they use to make golden objects. Craig Morris, hold on, y'all, I apologize. Craig Morrison and Andrea von Hagen written the book, The Inca Empire and Its Andran Origins. The Inca treasures that so dazzled the gold greedy Spanish invaders was created with techniques based on age old Andran metalworker traditions. These traditions began some two millenniums before the Spanish ships began to prowl Peru's water, according to George Bankers and Elizabeth Benson. Yeah, there you have it, man. We was making all kind of shit, pretty much to protect ourselves and to self-sustain ourselves. We needed tools to make sure our plants and everything growing right, making holes and irrigation lines from the river to come feed our plants. You know what I'm saying? We had to get to work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that shit deep right there, bro.
That's right.
That's why people don't recognize and don't realize, man, how important this is, man. We, like I said, this is the fifth video, and we trying to get through the whole encyclopedia, man. So definitely share this, man, because you know what? People is not touching on stuff like this, man. So appreciate the content that you get from the brothers, man. And like I said, man, um, I am still doing the documentary and everything. Mute your mic. Who that? What? Um, I'm still doing a documentary, y'all. So you know, the tab for the donations is in the description, as well as you got brothers posting it, as well as I do got the original T-shirts up there for you guys. So go to the website, like if you like what you see, cop something. If not, just keep it moving, man. But I definitely appreciate y'all if you can help me. We get this documentary out. Like I said, I'm gonna have to eventually spend a large. Who that? Who that? Chief. Chief. Hold up.
No, you got it. Yeah, I'm good. All right, man. You got everything. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, man. No, we heard them get together. We say Friday. That hey, I tell you what. Where you
Chief.
yeah.
Chief.
Oh, it was on. Hey, peace, man. What's up, bro? What's up? What's up? Hey, we got Tomahawk in the building. Say what's up, bro. What's up, fellas?
What's up? What's up,
Polito.
my brother? How you doing? Polito.
Oh, loving life, living love.
No doubt, brother. No doubt. Nah, I'm muted. I'm muted, Chief Mike. I'm mute your mic, Chief. My bad. Chief.
You can only do it A1. Did you mute it? Because you're going to have to unmute it if you muted it.
Yeah, I see it. Oh, nah. You know what? I did just unmute it. My bad. Hold up. My bad. Let me unmute it. He can unmute it. Unmute your mic, Chief.
Oh,
There you
okay.
go.
I was talking,
My
and you
bad.
know.
Yeah, we trying to get this jam done, man. You in the background making all that noise, man. So it's all good though.
Oh, we
But
good.
yeah, we trying to get through this, man. This is a serious jam, so just be mindful, man. It's a lot of noise in the background. All right, so where was we at? We was on precious metal. All right, hold up. Did you do precious metal? Who gonna touch on that? Did we? Matter, you know what? I touch a little bit on that. Or if you want to touch on that, Jack, please feel free to. And I touch on the military tactics.
You want to do the metallurgy or the metallurgy?
Let me see metallurgy. I don't I mean, if you
I
feel
mean,
as though it's
it's
certain,
kind of like the same thing, but it's like this is giving you what the whole where they got the whole metal working, what they it's giving you like the breakdown of the metal workers period. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's basically like they was just doing jewelry and all type of stuff like that. Mixture of gold,
Got one
copper,
more that's
and other metals.
two.
So you know,
Like one or two. So like one.
all right. So go ahead. I mean, if you want to touch a little bit on it, go ahead.
nah, I mean, we can move on. I was gonna get on. If you want to do the precious metals, or I come in after you if you want to hit on that a little bit.
All right, no doubt. So I hit on precious metals. So precious metal, 1900 BC to 300 BC. North American, Mesoamerican, South American cultures. They say metals are considered to be precious when when they are sacred. Sacred. It say gold, silver, and platinum are considered to be precious metals. It say gold is considered by many researchers to have been the first metal work in prehistoric Indian or Aborigine in pre-contact South America. Gold and copper objects appeared in the present day area of Bolivia and Ecuador. By 1900 BC, platinum was worked in the present day area of Ecuador. It's say in southern area of Colombia. It say, but the Europeans who did not have the technology to work with it, platinum was not considered precious. In North America, Aboriginal indigenous people generally did not make use of the gold. They say that lay on and beneath their land, neither panning for it nor working it into shapes. Many Mesoamericans and South American cultures shape gold into jewelry and ornaments. Yeah, and ornaments, I'm sorry. It say objects, say, but did not place a high value on the metal itself. Gold was not seen as a measure of wealth, but rather a status of symbol. These cultures value the transformative process of the craft person who turned the raw material into the work of art. The mixed tech who culture existed from 800 AD to 1500 AD in what is now Mexico, created beautiful artworks of gold. They used the metal for mass breastplates. Oh, breastplates. What? Breastplates. Okay. All right. Well, we see breastplates that you already know. Let me see. Damn, I lost where I was at. All right, I'm right here. My bad. All right, breastplates and vessels, as well as jewelry, forming these objects using a lost wax casting technique. It's a filigree and whatever, I can't pronounce that. It's a producing raised patterns by hammering on the back of the piece. The Aztec who established an empire in what is now Mexico in about 1100 AD believed that gold was the tear of the sun. Jade and Quetzal feathers were worn more than gold in their economy, despite the fact that they employed Mixtex and Toltecs goldsmith to create the lavish golden objects. These so impressed the Spanish conquistadors that they became the primary object of their looting. Fucking thieves, man. Fucking thieves. So you see now, we know who the thieves are. You Europeans that come, y'all already fucking know. I already know it's a bunch of agents on my channel. So we know who got our gold. Where our fucking gold is at, and just give it back to us, you fucking thieves. All that gold that's in Fort Knox, you fucking thieves. All that gold that's across seas, you fucking thieves. And that's what they do. Everything that they like, that they can fucking create some type of economics out of it, they still. They see that we wasn't They see that we didn't put a value on the gold because the gold was free. But these thieves came and stole it. And look, like I said, man, the gig is up, man. We know you motherfuckers ain't create nothing. We know y'all ain't nothing but thieves. Y'all stole everything, and y'all try to make it look like we ain't nothing but crackheads and pipe heads, and all we want to do is do rap videos and all this shit. But guess what? We know who the real people are who wore the gold, because we the only fucking people who run around here with gold teeth in our mouth, with gold around our neck. We the only people doing that. And the sad part is we gotta buy our own fucking gold back from you people. But one day this shit gonna change, all right? So the explorations were mounted to look for gold, included those of Hernan Cote, among the Aztec Francis Pizarro among the Incas, who had established an empire in about 1000 AD in what is now Peru. Herman de Santos fucking ass in what is now Florida and the Carolinas. Francis Vasquez de Coronado in what is now Mexico and Arizona. It's a Francisco de Orellano in the Amazon basin. Whenever they found gold, they enslaved the American Indians and set them to mine it. Yo, y'all need to give us back our shit. For real, yo. That's the reason why we don't have nothing, because you fucking bum-ass Europeans who ain't got nothing in your country, nothing. You ain't got nothing but death. That's the only thing you ever created, is death and diseases. Okay? They did the same when they found silver. One of the largest single sources of silver was found in the mountains of the Potosi in what is now Bolivia. It was accidentally discovered. Let me keep it moving. It say it was actually accidentally discovered. It say in 1545 by an Indian walking in the Aboriginal walking in the mountains. He reported the find to the Spaniard. Why would you report something that you got on your own land back to some fucking foreigners? They say consequently, the Spaniards started a large scale mining operation. Potosi became the largest supplier of gold in the world by 1600. The Spanish also found the silver in 11 other places in the present-day area of Mexico. Eventually, Mexico became the richest silver-bearing state in the world. At one point, the Spanish silver pesos and pieces of 8 were used on currency on half of the world. Historians estimate that in 1492, about 200 million worth of gold and silver, or about $2 a person, was either stored in coffers. I don't know, coffers. They say on Europe, or circulated there in the form of money. Ships bearing gold from, excuse me, I don't know what the fuck this should be popping up on my shit. It say ships bearing gold from the New World caused that amount of triple within 50 years. It say by 1600s, the amount of gold and silver in Europe had increased eightfold. The rapid increase of assets caused the economy to boom at first, but they sparked soaring inflation and conditions in which prices for gold rises sharply as the value of money declined. The economic unbalance lasted for about a century. So check this out, y'all. Check this out. The Europeans ain't nothing but fucking thieves and bums. Okay? They came here, they robbed just like they do now. Oh, they discover gold. They discover oil. They sell the oil. Everything that they find, they try to sell for money so they can get some type of, and this is what the Moors taught them. And that's fucked up. This is what the Moors taught them. Because prior to The Moors the Moors already there with a bartering system. And when I say Moors, we meaning just black Europeans who was already there. The word Moor is a descriptive term, so don't think we talking about Drew Ali Moors or any Moors with feathers. We already know what you're talking about. We already know what we're talking about. So the Europeans, Moors, or whatever you want to call them or whatever, they taught them this bartering system. They was the one trading these spices because they was the ones that was going around the world and finding these things and bringing them back. But when they started warming with the Moors and then the Moors had to leave, they no longer had any of these advantages. So they had to go around the world and take it and steal it from us. So all the gold that Queen Elizabeth got, all the gold that the Rothschilds got, all the gold that Fort Knox got, all the gold that you see around the fucking world did not come from Africa. It came from here. And I wish people would stop saying Africa has all the fucking resources, because that only undermines your story of what they did here for the last 500 fucking years. If they had so much Africa, why the fuck why they not telling you that they got any of this shit from Africa? Why they telling you got everything from over here? Because they stole every fucking thing and then made you work for it just like our dumb asses do right now. We fucking go to work. All this stuff that was created, the hospitals and stuff that was our shit, we go to work for these motherfuckers. So I just food for thought, man. I digress, man.
Right.
Let's get on the military. I mean, that shit just pisses me off.
That shit is real though, man.
It pisses me off, bro. It pisses me off.
The one, I mean, I don't think people really, get the drift really of what, I mean, if you're not, like I said, if you're not really sharing this type of information with somebody that is vibing with you, I mean, by now we should all be like, you know what, man, we all gonna start just taking our Fridays off. We can start there. Everybody, 45 million, 30 million, whatever, say, hey, you know what, we gonna take our Fridays off. Fuck it. Start there. Yep. What you think they gonna do? Nothing. You think they gonna fire 45 million people on it that next week or whatever? Hell fucking no. I mean, it's just, I know that's kind of like, yeah, everybody not gonna be on it, but we gotta really start. We the elite thinkers and vibrational frequency energy sources right now. The fact that we are really trying to apply and learn our culture, that they're hijacking from us right in our face
and selling it right back to you. And they got motherfuckers like Bruno Mars doing In Living Color videos. Like, niggas should have just ran up on him and threw his ass off the stage. Like, get your ass out of you fucking, I don't know what he is, but you ain't one of us. And we need to stop letting everybody claim our fucking culture and steal our culture, bro. Because there's no way in the fucking world, bro. When you read this stuff, and then like I said, we got 71 viewers. This shit should have like 500 views, because this is history right here. This is real history. Ain't nobody taking their time to go through a whole fucking encyclopedia and teach it on YouTube. And this is real history right here. This is not no shit where I'm taking sound bites or nothing. This is real shit. Okay, we reading this out. We reading this out verbatim. Okay, we reading the whole thing out to you guys, and people don't appreciate it. The last video got what, 1,000 views? Are you fucking serious? Got 1,000 views, y'all. 1,000 views. People don't realize, and then you want to learn your culture and you want to understand the stuff that we did in this country. You ain't gonna never understand, because people do not support one another. We don't support each other. We don't. We support foolishness. You got niggas making videos, doing movie reviews and shit, and everybody gravitate towards these certain weirdos or whatever. Like this is the history. I'm gonna do this whether 2 or 3 people come out or whatever. It really doesn't matter, because I'm edifying myself as we go along. You know what I'm saying? When I say I'm talking about me, but it's more, it's we, it's more than just me. So we got Holiday on the panel, we got Jaguar on the panel, we got AP, and you got yours truly, Thompson, this one. So if you guys don't appreciate this shit, then I don't know what the fuck to tell you. Let's get on to the next thing, man.
I get on this military tactics right quick, man.
This is gonna be something. This is gonna be epic right here.
You know what I'm saying? So, um, I mean, I don't think we really have to say too much, but I think, you know what I'm saying, at least take some notes or something, at least on this. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of what anybody want to say about anything, we gotta really at least start. Okay, well, who was fighting or having the best defense in the world? We finna see right here. All right, military tactics pre-contact. North American, Northeast, Northwest, and Plains, Mesoamerican, South American cultures. Because the armies of the conquistadors and colonists ultimately defeated the indigenous people of the Americas, many people mistakenly assumed that American Indian military tactics were less effective than those of the Europeans. The opposite is true. The opposite is true. Okay. So they saying, okay, it switched around. All right. These Europeans that came with these guns and all that, you finna find out how it still wasn't the best tactic, or they still didn't have the best ways, or they still didn't have the best mind or spirit when it came to war. Finna represent, man. American Indians, also known as Aboriginals, we do gotta throw that in there because some people do get it twisted with hijacks and stuff like that. And you got people that want to consider dates, and it's cool, but we still gotta go with what is being said and being proven at this time, even up to now. This is coming from an encyclopedia, period, published as an encyclopedia. American Indians were highly skilled in guerrilla warfare. In addition to their intimate knowledge of the land, they excel at the techniques of ambush and stalking the enemy, which they had devised during the hunt. Indigenous fighters were also expert in the tactic of raiding. They sent scouts to gather information on both the lay of the land and the enemy, something Europeans often did not do. At first, the European armies marching in close columns into unknown territory and fighting in formation were highly critical of the indigenous style of fighting. They believed it was disorganized despite the fact that lightning fast strikes followed by quick retreats into the woods enabled Indians to win skirmishes and even early battles. Generals labeled North American Indians skulking Indians or skulking Indians and turned their style of fighting ignoble or ignoble. At the same time, they criticized Indians for not killing enough people during battle. They derided indigenous weapons, war axes, and arrows as primitive. When it became obvious, however, that worked in war in the New World differed from that in the Old World. French and British commanders enlisted Indian aid in fighting the French and Indian Wars. Not until the British and French adopted American Indian military techniques were they able to defeat the Indian people of North America in battle. I'm going to read that again. Not until the British and French adopted American Indian military techniques were they able to defeat the Indian people of North America in battle. Indigenous armies in Mesoamerica, South America, and North America used guerrilla tactics to resist the Spanish conquistadors. Pope's rebellion in August 1680 is an outstanding example of this. Pope Pope um, Atewa, operating from Taos Pueblo. That's Pope, not a pope, y'all. Just made that clear. Pope Atewa, operating from Taos Pueblo, organized a brilliant and successful route of the Spaniards from what is now New Mexico. He planned the campaign in secret, a feat in itself, since he was able to gain the help of all the pueblos except for Pueblo Grande. Before the pueblos would agree to join with him, they had to reach consensus in their councils. Pope used messengers or runners to carry information from pueblo to pueblo. They carried nautic strings to use as calendars so that the timing would be coordinated. When information about the surprise attacks was leaked, Pope moved the date ahead. On August 10th, 1680, his men burned missions at both Taos and Acoma Pueblos. 5 days later, 500 indigenous soldiers marched on Santa Fe, the Spanish headquarters, driving the enemy away. Although Pope's campaign was successful, the Spaniards returned to reestablish their rule several years later. However, when they did, they toned down some of their most oppressive measures for a number of years. Historians believe this was in, in direct response to Pope's revolt. The English colonizers of New England faced heavy resistance from Metacom, a Wampanoag chief whom they called King Philip. He was able to successfully pull off a number of raids and ambushes by hiding in the Rhode Island wilderness. The Rhode Island militia, who had learned the usefulness of this tactic, tried it but failed in the summer of 1675 when one of their troops lit a pipe of tobacco, giving away their position and making them the target of attack from Metacom's troops. An observer wrote that the defeat had come because of the militia members being troubled with the epidemical plague of lust after tobacco. At the Battle of Pocasset Swamp, a few days later, between 7 and 15 Englishmen died because of their ineptitude in guerrilla warfare, at which Indians were so expert. Increased Mather wrote of that encounter. The swamp was so boggy and thick of bushes as that it was judged to proceed further therein would be but to throw away men's lives. It could not there be discerned who were English and who the Indians. Our men, when in the hideous place, if they did but see a bush stirred would fire presently, whereby 'tis verily feared that they did sometimes unhappily shoot Englishmen instead of Indians. Okay, unquote. When moving across the land, American Indian soldiers spaced themselves out so that they would not be an easy target for an enemy fire. This indigenous tactic also made it extremely difficult for the colonizers to know how many Indians they were up against in a military encounter. English troops did the opposite. Benjamin Church, a British officer who recruited Indian soldiers for the British Army, commented, "The English always kept in a heap together. that it was as easy to hit them as to hit in house. Recognizing that Metacom could not possibly be defeated by the European military strategy, Church finally convinced 140 friendly Indians to join 60 British soldiers to pursue the war chief in 1676. All right, so y'all heard that right there, man. American Indians who advised British troops on guerrilla military strategy.
That's not true.
American Indians who advised British troops on guerrilla military strategy quickly became frustrated by the British unwillingness to listen to the advice they had solicited. During the French and Indian War, 1689 to 1763, Tanagrisson, a Seneca chief, watched then Lieutenant Colonel George Washington's troops throw together a stockade in a meadow after retreating from French occupied Fort Duquesne, Duquesne, which was located on the site of what is Pittsburgh today. Washington termed the stockade Fort Necessity. Tanagrisson later wrote of Washington that he would by no means take advice from the Indians. He lay at one place from one full moon to the other and made no fortifications at all, but that one little thing upon the meadow. Tanagrisson called the English fools for their carelessness and the French cowards for not attacking them. General Washington later ignored American Indian military intelligence about the interior of the French fort and about its inhabitants. Information modern military historians believe would have given him a decided advantage. Washington was not an exception in this regard. The British generally held Indian war chiefs in contempt during the French and Indian War. However, French commanders actively courted Indian allies and listened to their advice. After the Civil War, 1861 to 65, the U.S. Army attempted to push American Indians living on the Great Plains onto reservations in order to free the land for non-Indian settlement. Once again, they faced guerrilla warfare and, as they had 200 years before, non-Indian commanders clung to tactics that had been used in Europe. They didn't learn. The most crushing defeat they suffered was at the Battle of Little Bighorn, where George Armstrong Custer, overly confident of his military superiority and unfamiliar with the land, commanded an attack against a group of Indians led by Lakota Chief Crazy Horse. Even though the U.S. troops were outnumbered at least 2-1, many modern military historians credit American Indian warriors on young men from one of the Ned's first bands. Oh, hold on, wait a minute. Don't forget that. Okay, hold on. Many modern military historians credit American Indian warriors on the plains as being more expert horsemen than the U.S. Army cavalry troops and as being excellent military tacticians as well. They believe that American Indian war chiefs lost the protracted Indian wars on the plains because they led their fighters rather than commanded them as did U.S. Army generals. Following Indian leaders was always voluntary. Indian leaders did not issue orders to soldiers who fought with them. Another important factor in the loss was that while the U.S. Army was unified under the ultimate command of the President of the United States, Plains Indians fought using loose-knit coalitions of bands or tribes. Disease combined with waves of European immigration meant that by the last half of 1800s, at the start of the Sioux Wars, some people, non-Indians already outnumbered Indians in the American West by 10 to 1. So by the time the 1850s, they saying non-Indians already outnumbered Indians to the American West by 10 to 1. So out west they was outnumbered. Another example of the effectiveness of American Indian military tactics is that of Chief Joseph of the Nez Perce. He is known for his strategy of field fortifications, skirmish lines, and rear and advance guards while retreating from the U.S. Army from 1,600 miles in 1877. The Nez Perce were ordered to move from a government-imposed reservation on their ancestral homeland in what is now Washington State to the La Reservation in Idaho. Before the move could be accomplished, young men from one of the Nez Perce bands killed 4 white men. The U.S. Army retaliated with disproportionate proportionate force. Chief Joseph consequently moved his people, mostly old men, women, and children, on the tribe's Appaloosa horses in an attempt to seek sanctuary first with the Crow and then with Sitting Bull in Canada. During this time, Nez Perce warriors under his command fought the U.S. Army in 13 battles and skirmishes with 10 different Army commands, defeating nearly all of them. U.S. General William Tecumseh Sherman commented it was one of the most extraordinary Indian wars of which there is any record. Some of the strategies and battle plans devised by Chief Joseph are still taught at West Point, a U.S. military academy today. According to modern military historians, American Indians ultimately lost the battle with non-Indians to keep their land. Despite their excellence as military strategists, because the colonizers arrived with both firearms and disease, although North American Indians who obtained guns first from the fur trade and later in raids quickly learned how to use them effectively. They were never as adequately armed as the colonizers, who possessed cannons in addition to guns. The number of indigenous peoples available to fight to defend their homelands was also decreased by diseases such as smallpox, measles, cholera, and tuberculosis, which Europeans introduced inadvertently at first, but then later used intentionally as a military tactic by giving the Indian smallpox infected blankets during the French and Indian Wars. Now, we did hear that they had help from already American Indians that evidently would help the people they was trading or help get rid of people they was already beefing with. You know what I'm saying? That's what we basically just went over. And so therefore that was how they were able to take over land because the tactics were shown to them by our own people who betrayed us.
Hmm. So, quick question: who set Martin Luther King up? Hmm? Who set Fred Hampton up? Who set Malcolm X up? Hmm? Who set Bob Marley up? They use their own people every time, man. That's why I don't fuck with everybody. That's why I don't fuck with everybody. I don't really. I mean, and it's not that I'm somebody in which that I want that, but I already know how cross are. People try to get close to you and then they cross you. And this is a tactic that we always fucking do. We still do to this day. You understand what I'm saying? When you reading this, and listen, just for your own curiosity, right? This bastard sitting in this seat right here. Let me go back down. Oh, I'm sorry, I went too far. My bad. Let me go back up. This is not no fucking Indian right here, all right? You the Indian. The Indians are classified as African Americans, black and Negroes, okay? So you're the real Indian. And we didn't prove this through the pictures. We didn't prove this through the Smithsonian Institute, which tell you modern Native Americans are like Koreans, Chinese, and Japanese. But the first Americans like Africans, Australians, South Pacific Islanders, all right? Now, I exclude the Australian part because I don't see nobody with no phenotypical looks of Australians. None. None of us look like no fucking Australian. Australians got strong features, okay? But we do look like so-called, well, whatever they consider the African to be or South Pacific Islander, we do look like them. So like I said, man, and even when you hear these tactics and everything, we sold each other out, man. And we do it today, every day, all day. A nigga had a job. The first person to sell them out is their own people. And then don't never trust none of these motherfuckers who always want to talk all proper. And that only shows you how colonized these people are. You understand? The people who want to talk all proper and shit like, oh, yeah, and I get away from them. Them be the last person I want to deal with. You understand what I'm saying? Because they the most colonized. Anybody who want to be more colonized than you, get away from them. Especially when you already know anybody who stand on their education or I'm so educated and all, fuck all that. You understand what I'm saying? But you heard, according to what this man Ray just read, almost 7-8 different paragraphs that tell you that the reason we was defeated is because we sold each other out. Metacom was basically defeated because his own people sided with the British. The British promised them shit, and after the British took their shit, they probably crossed them more than likely. Because this is how demonic this motherfucker is. So with that being said, Jack, you got anything else you want to touch on this before we go on to the next thing? Jack, you still with us? When Jack go?
Yeah, man. I mean, like I say, man, I mean, yeah, we already knew that, but the thing is, we got to really stand up for one another the right way, man. We can't get involved with anybody and be dealing with everybody that just want to sit up and just cause confusion or distractions. If you ain't trying to build or really bond or just even have a simple conversation with somebody, man, that you really just want to enjoy or embrace as a being, man. That people done went through and the situations and circumstances we going through. Ain't nobody part of no societies and getting all type of extra ailments and extra finances put in they bank accounts and stuff like that, man. Y'all know what it is for the ones who out there already in it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, I mean, you already know it's unfair. And if you don't care, I mean, that is what it is. But we finna prevail, man. That's all we trying to do. We doing our part. We making it easy. And we just trying to keep it moving, man.
Bro, karma is real. Same way you do something to a person, that shit come back to your ass. You think these motherfuckers who did all this shit to us, that shit ain't coming back to them?
Right.
You honestly think that? And I'm saying that gracefully. I ain't saying that I ain't got to do nothing to nobody. The earth is already starting the process of eliminating these people who not supposed to be here organically. And like I tell you, every immigrant that came here on the backs of these people who took your land. So ain't none of these motherfuckers your friend. And I'm saying that. You know what I'm saying? None of them your friend. I'm not saying everybody know. Some people might not have nothing to do with it. Some people might left their country because of the dire straits that that the military from this country went there and did what they did, which forced them to come here. So we already know that it's some people who don't. But all these Europeans that sit out here and try to get all of the fucking money, and they ride around like I went to the mall in Jersey today called Short Hills, right? And you see how all the Europeans try to live all high class and shit. They come from straight filth. Straight fucking filth. You could put a fucking tuxedo on a monkey. He's still gonna be a fucking monkey. He's still gonna be a monkey. So they can have you can have your Aston Martins, you can have your Gucci, your Louis, your MCN, you can have all that and act all oh, you got so much proper etiquette and all that. But guess what? If it wasn't for us, you wouldn't have none of this shit. Because y'all was eating dead children on salt. They was cannibals in that country. Cannibals. Why do you think they call them the germ man? You think that, or you think they call it the German? You think the germ man is a word? Why? Because they brought all these diseases here, in which you still got to get vaccinations for today. You got to get vaccinations today. We're not saying that you have to, but this is another line of their commerce that they created. You understand what I'm saying? To make you a subject of. So, man, like I said, man, I already touched on the wars that was here in America or whatever, but you already hear the tactics, the war tactics, and we already know, like I said, Fred Hampton, the Black Panthers, and anybody who tried to liberate you, they always put a fucking agent there, and then next thing you know, that was the end of that person. Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, the man who didn't wear the man who did, I ain't gonna mention no name, but the man who didn't wear the fucking tie, who wiped the blood on him, we already know he had something to do with that. So, you gotta learn from history, man, and see what history is. I mean, even though, like I said, man, I'm a peaceful person. All I want to do is just learn my history. But this shit make you sick, man. Learning it, you hear we just touched on gold, we touched on precious metals, all this stuff, and you will soon see that you created everything, and these people took everything and learned everything from a bunch of fucking sellouts. It's like you got a bunch of sellouts at work, a bunch of people just I'm just trying to do what's right for my family or whatever. And like a bunch of motherfuckers like that. I'm just trying to do what's right for my family. So that means that you're gonna sell out you're gonna sell out all your people. You can't look yourself in the mirror. How you gonna look yourself in the mirror after you sell your fellow man out? And then like my man, what's the nigga name? William O'Neill. They got dollars, man. That nigga got $300 for selling out all his people. Great job. You did a great job and shit. And at the end, he got 300. With that being said, man, I skipped over some of the stuff. Let's get into this mirrors. If you want, we can touch on the moccasins, and we got money coming up.
Hey,
Yeah,
hey, peace, brother. Hey, I wanted to kind of say something on the military thing. Shout out to Jaguar Omeg, man. That's dope.
Peace, go ahead.
That a lot of these so-called wars, we were fighting for these countries by proxy. You understand what I'm saying? So we actually won the wars against each other for them. They didn't come over here and beat us. So that's another fallacy. So that kind of coincides with the brothers saying that they didn't beat us militarily. We beat ourselves. They're beating us with the paper. They're beating us with trickery. We've never lost no damn war. And that's why America is as great as it is because of the fighting man and women that they have, from the Aborigines from this country. Period. Peace.
That's right. See, and that's how it is. They sell you out Like I told you, man, the Atachan was so free he didn't have to wear shoes. Now we fight and kill each other for shoes. Oh, you got a closet full of sneakers, and listen, I'm guilty of that too. I'm guilty of that too. Understand what I'm saying? You got a closet full of sneakers, but the Tachan was so free he didn't have to wear no motherfucking shoes. He only wore shoes on certain occasions. You understand what I'm saying? To the point now, we'll fight each other, we'll kill each other, we're for Andrew Jackson to get his Federal Reserve notes. They call Andrew Jackson the motherfucking devil. They call him the motherfucking devil, bro. And we'll fight for that damn devil to get a Federal Reserve note so we can go spend the store to go buy back shit that's rightfully yours. So you'll take that money and go buy meat and go buy vegetables and fruits and go buy a bunch of other shit that's not needed. You understand what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, man, just like they tell you in the Bible, a rich man has a worse chance of getting into heaven. I forgot how the allegory says, or how it's correctly said. But you guys know what the hell I'm talking about. So, like I said, man, I could be here teaching my daughter how to probe the universe. But right now, we here reading this encyclopedia, and like I said, man, you got people out here who don't appreciate nothing. They think all this shit is entertainment. All this shit is entertainment. Oh, let's turn it to the next channel so we can watch this. This is history, man. Nobody else gonna get this to you, man. You know what I'm saying? Got plenty of good videos giving you information. Yeah, I curse. And this is not children friendly. But you can take it and you can learn something and you can teach your children. Or if you're a teacher, you can teach the people who you need to teach. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna never stop cursing. I'm gonna keep on cussing because this shit make me sick to my fucking stomach, man. So let me get on mirrors, man, and we can go from there, man. So we got mirrors. 1700 BC, Mesoamerican culture. Mirrors are implemented, used for reflecting images. The Olmecs invented the oldest mirrors in pre-Columbian Mesoamerican. It say Olmec culture flourished in the Yucatan Peninsula from about 1700 BC. Where they found Naya at, Chief? Mm, mm, In the
Right.
Yucatan Peninsula. Okay? And Naya was a Negro. They say from the 1700 BC until 400 BC. Many experts considered the Olmecs to be the first true civilization, which we know that's not true, because how was that the first true civilization when you had Karun and you had all these other fucking thriving towns prior to that? And they are also considered the mother of civilization that followed. The most common material that the Olmec used to produce mirrors was a polished hermite. Hermite is a black or reddish material that is most common source of iron. The Olmec developed a technology for grinding and polishing their mirrors, but this technology remains a mystery today. According to, excuse me, y'all. According to archaeologist Michael Crow, it say 2 holes was drilled along the edges of the Olmec mirrors so that the strings could be attached. The mirrors could be hung on the walls around the neck. The Mayans, who culture arose in Mesoamerica in about 1500 BC, used iron pyrite for the mirrors. Mayan mirrors were the symbol for king and royalty. Now they had kings and royalty. What? I thought kings was over in Europe. No, you the king, and they got the crown from you. They got the crown from the fucking feather crown, bro. And they started making the feather crown out of gold. The Mesoamerican culture group used gold, silver, copper, archicite, and obsidian for mirrors that they made. All right, I'm gonna touch on this, man, because I'm gonna get Jag this little break. Jag, we coming up to money And
I'll touch on something after you.
okay, matter of fact, you know what? You back, my brother. Go ahead. Let's you could go. You could touch on the moccasins, and if you want to go on the money, go ahead. Let's get it.
All right, let's get it.
Let me mute my mic.
Uh, Moccasins. A number of Indian cultures in North America design. I ain't gonna read all of it, y'all. Designed and wore in distinctly styled leather footwear called moccasins. These shoes were made in both hard and soft sole versions. The name comes from the last three tribes: the Nagaraksans, a northeastern tribe called the footwear moccasins, the Mo the Mokins, the Mokines, and the Mi'kmaq of the upper Midwest called them Mushkins, Mushkins or some shit. And the Powhatans of what is now Virginia called them moccasins. Moccasins. You see what I'm saying? They all the same name, different derivatories. You know how we speak. Tomato, tomato, same thing. Comfortable and trail. Moccasins have become a popular style that are worn by people throughout the New World. Like people of the other world cultures, American Indians invented shoes to protect their feet from cold temperatures. I'm gonna say this one more time. Like the other world cultures, American Indians invented shoes to protect their feet from cold temperatures and sharp objects. Indigenous Americans constructed moccasins from leather made from bison, moose, elk, deer skin, and other shit. Although moccasins are low tops, they could quickly and easily be made into a boot by attaching leggings to them. Mm, leggings. Who we seeing wearing the leggings now? Copper color Aborigine women. So let's go down to moccasins. I'm gonna just give y'all a little brief description of what they look like. Can y'all see them on my screen? All right, here we go. Back to it. Moccasins. American Indians tied animal tails to the heels of the moccasins for the same purpose. Tribes that lived in the Northeast or North American, such as the Chippewa and the Shabi, occasionally tie fresh straps to the bottom of their moccasins to provide traction on the ice. So, like I said, I wasn't gonna read all that, but I'm gonna go down to money. Money cultivated AD 800 AD South American Mesoamerican cultures. Money is is a standard medium for exchange. It is used to set prices, pay for services and goods, and discharge debts. Although not widespread, copper coins were used by some pre-contact South American and Mesoamerican cultures. The ancient pre-Peruvian Seneca people who cultures arrived in what is now Peru in about 800 AD called their money nappies. These copper coins, which were shaped like which were shaped like capital, is were used in trade and held in a set common standard of value. The metal coins made economic transaction less cumbersome for traders and then exchanging bulky goods for goods. Okay. Made it a lot easier to get what you want, in other words. Some coins were T or X shaped and were used in the international trade. Archaeologists have found some of these copper mini axes west of Mexico, according to Arthur Stewart J. Fiddle. Copper money axes were even more common in the Malango cultures of Gaius River Bison. A neighbor in contemporary Montego, he begins to pre-contact traders in or Ecuadorian lit, literal use. This copper money is an a medium of exchange with the people of the western Mexico. Many archaeologists speculate that the trade between the two areas, separated by 2,400 square miles of open sea, was extensive. The traders are believed to have used balsa rafts. Okay, so they got evidence of all that. So I'm done with that. We pretty much know what Marcus is anyway. So.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Good shit, brother. I appreciate you.
Morning
Definitely.
glories. Go ahead. That's what we up next with, I guess.
Morning Glory. Let me see what that is. All right. I mean, I'll just touch on the paragraph just to give you an idea. Morning Glories are climbing vines that produce trumpet-shaped flowers. All right. So y'all already know what that is. Y'all seen that before. All right. I ain't gonna touch on this. So I'm gonna go down. Um, you got mouthwash, but I'll read a little bit. Mouthwash is a liquid used as a breath freshener as well as a treatment for problems. For problems of the gums and the interior of the mouth. Pre pre-contact American Aborigines placed emphasis on oral hygiene. This extended to all aspects of dental care and included using mouthwash. So, like I said, ain't nothing new under the motherfucking sun, okay? Multi-family dwellings, see, apartment complexes. See, we didn't live in them fucking teepees that they showing you. We had long houses, man. Hold up, who was that? Was it No, it was Alberico. Alberico, not Americo, because his name was Americo, it was Alberico. He stole the word Ameri from the people. Alberico, he basically said in his journals that the people here had long houses, that they was 30 foot long, no, 50 foot long and 30 foot wide, and they could house up to hundreds of people, right? So that's why I say multiple family dwellings. Listen. I'm gonna tell y'all one more time, y'all. And I know y'all people don't appreciate it, or the people who gonna see this video later on, man. Listen, man, no one else is doing this, man. Like I said, you'll be reading this yourself or get a Kindle and you can let the Kindle read it to you. But for the most part, you got brothers up here reading this out to you, and they putting emphasis on, like, you know what I'm saying? Like we giving you true feelings, man, of how we feel about this shit, man. Because like I said, these people told you that you wasn't nothing but a fucking crackhead. You ain't put, and the sad thing is they got immigrants coming over here telling them that. And the immigrants benefiting from everything you created. You know what I'm saying? Don't own nothing. You're not smart enough to own nothing. We've been rocked to sleep. Meanwhile, we the biggest consumers on the fuck. We spend more than the immigrants spend. We spend more than they spend. You understand what I'm saying? So with that, I digress. You want to touch on mummies, Jaguar?
Yeah, I can do that. Touch on mummies,
All
man.
right, let's get it, because I know you've been in the cut for a minute, so I know you probably won't touch on mummy. So let's get it. I'm gonna mute my mic.
All right. Got mummies calculated 5,000 BC, South American, Andean, Mesoamerican cultures. Mummies are dead bodies that have been embalmed and wrapped with layers of fabric in order to preserve them. Although the ancient Egyptians are the best known mummy makers, the ancient Kinkoro, who lived in what is now Chile, made mummies in around 5000 BC. The Egyptians are believed to have begun mummifying bodies about the time of the first dynasty in about 3100 BC. In addition to mummifying adults and children, the Kinkoro also mummified fetuses and embryos. The Moche or the Mochi, whose culture flourished in the Andean region of South America from about 200 BC to AD 600, made mummies as well as wrapping them in exquisitely woven burial cloths. Say, see, weaving techniques. The Maya, whose culture flourished in Mesoamerica from about 1500 BC to about AD 1500, also mummified human remains, a practice that was closely tied to their religious beliefs. Although the Maya had no contact with the people of Egypt, their burial practices were remarkably similar. The mummies of Maya rulers were entombed in pyramids, which contained false chambers similar to those of the Egyptian pyramids. Goods and servants were buried with them for their trip to the spirit world. And that's mummies, man. Got murals.
We can't get off of mummies without elaborating on that.
Oh,
Hold
yeah,
up,
We
man.
gotta go in on that.
We
Yeah.
gotta go. Hold up. So now I'm just gonna say this real quick. Now we taught that the mummies was over in Egypt, right? But one key thing that they mummies got that you get from South America, what is that? Cocaine leaves. When I was reading the Peru pyramids, they was telling you that the pyramids in Peru was already standing when the pyramids in Giza was being built. Okay, so like I said, this right here only backs up my claim more, and the claim that we've been teaching and these fake Pan Africans. And I wish Brother Jabari and one of them niggas would call me out, man. I mean, cause I really want to just destroy all that shit real quick, man. Cause I got the technology to do it, the research as well as the brothers right here who know this shit, man. Who know this shit. They don't want to see us on this because it'll be the end of that whole Kemetic shit. And we already know
Facts.
that the CIA created the Pan African movement. Why would the CIA fund the Pan African movement? But you got this idiot Jabari who looked like a fucking retard sitting up there laughing like, "Oh, you sound crazy," and he's another one of them idiots who want to sound like he's colonized or who want to you want to have a competition on who's colonized the best, who speaks the best English. I don't care about no fucking English. My ancestors spoke Algonquin
Right.
and Iroquois and other languages. So
Right.
this tells you right here. But go ahead, brothers. Go ahead and build on it, brothers.
I mean, not only that, we have some of the oldest mummies to date. Not only oldest by like a few years, a few hundred years. No, almost 5,000 years we surpassed them in doing mummies. The first mummies in Egypt wasn't practiced until the first dynasty, which is roughly about 3,400 BCE. That's only about a little over 5,000 years ago. We was doing them 8,000 years ago, wrapping them in cotton along with coca leaves. So what is they saying?
Bro, this right here is monumental, bro. This would destroy any of that whole pan. And like I said, man, my whole thing is not to disframe anything that came from that so-called continent over there that we refer to as Africa. But guess what? If the props was done over here, we need to get a props to the rightful owners and the rightful people who would deserve to be. Because, like I said, we being told that we from over there, while the Europeans take all your culture and sell it back to you and the rest of the fucking world. And meanwhile, they telling you that they was getting all the gold from over here. They ain't get no gold from Africa. They try to make, oh, Africa got all the resources. Africa got all the resources. But hold the fuck up. Where did the European learn everything from? According to this Encyclopedia, I believe he learned it from us.
Right.
So they don't want to build on this. They don't. Nobody want to. Don't nobody really want to build on this because they're gonna get exposed. Fucking with me, I can go beyond talking about Aborigine. We can go all the way to talk about the pyramids, talk about mummies, talk about which pyramid's the oldest. We can just, man, like I said, you don't really want it. So you keep ducking and dodging. You can call Ali Muhammad out. You know what I'm saying? You can call numerous different brothers out though, but they don't want to see certain individuals on this because if we present this information in front of a room of full of people, the people ain't stupid. They gonna know when they being lied to. And if a brother's on stage lying to people and trying to make, because like I said, with the images, with the archaeologists, with things like the Smithsonian Institute telling you that the first American, and now you got people they telling you the first Americans resemble Australians, Africans, and South Pacific Islanders. Just so happens that we got Indians who got the same phenotypes as these people all the way up into the 1700s. So people gonna be smart enough and see only dumb people. Like I said, I was in a because I had to exchange my some earphones I bought because they wasn't working properly, right? And I was showing one of the sisters and shit. I was explaining to her about situate Indians and all that, right? So the little girl that was taking my that was basically servicing me or whatever, she said, "Oh." She said, "Yeah, Columbus killed them all." I looked at her like, "You dumb motherfucker, yo. This is what they taught you in school." And the sad part is this. No one ever think about it. If you seeing black people here, so where are these people at now? I don't even want to go. Let's go on musical instruments, man. Somebody want to touch on that real quick, man? Or you want me to jump on it?
Go ahead, A1. Keep it
All
rocking.
right, man. Now, in fact, you know what? I'm gonna go on. Hold up. Let me see something. Where we at? Let me see something real quick. All right, so I'm Mirrors. I'm gonna go on Mirrors real quick. All right, so Mirrors, 1500 BC to 1500 AD. Mesoamerican culture. Mirrors are very large pictures. What do we do? What do we do when rappers get killed? We paint murals. What do we do when our brothers and sisters get killed? We make murals on T-shirts, and you know what I'm saying. So we already know who the people and who's the people who used to do this, man. So
Right.
it says they're large pictures. They are painted on walls, sometimes ceilings. Mesoamerican art developed murals painted independently of technique created by other world cultures. The Trichilites, they say, who live in what is now the estate of Durango, Mexico. The Aztec who empire arose in about AD 11, no, about 1100 AD in the Valley of Mexico. The other culture group of Mesoamerican all painted murals. It say the Mayans, however, are regarded as the most prolific and sophisticated Mesoamerican mural painter. Mayan culture arose in what is now Mexico in about 1500 BC. Some exquisite examples of their murals have survived into the present time. One of the best known archaeology sites with well preserved murals are that of the Bonaparte. Now, what do we see on the Bonaparte? We see fucking Negroes, okay? We see Negroes, okay? It say in what is now the Chupas, Mexico. The murals of Bonaparte was painted during the classic period of the Mexican culture, AD 600 AD to 900 AD. These vividly colored drawings depict the history of culture and the Mayan people of Bonaparte, including coronations and battles. Mural painters stopped their work in about 792 AD, leaving the paintings unfinished at this time of death in the regions overtook the birth rate, and the following is unknown catastrophic. The city ceased to flourish. Another example of the Mayan murals are that battle scene painted on the interior wall of the upper temple of the Jaguar Chichens. It's the Toltecs who culture shortly thereafter fused with the Mayans. It say follow the Chichens as a it say in about 987 BD, I mean AD. The Mayan paintings use five basic colors: blue, black, red, yellow, white, and yellow for their murals. To obtain these colors, they use several minerals for paints. These include crushed harmonite, harmtite. I guess that's how you pronounce it. Carbon,
Hematite. Hematite.
hematite, hematite. Good looking, brother. Hematite. It's a carbon, coal, or ashes, and yellow archer mineral. Iron oxidize. All right. So look, man. Like I said, nothing new up under the sun, y'all. We like I said, when brothers and sisters get killed now, what do they do? I'm a one of y'all brothers want to touch on musical instruments?
Go ahead, Jag. Who was that else I heard? Light man.
That's Jersey 77, man. Jersey 77. You want to touch on musical instruments?
I mean, I could read it, but I mean, it's gonna tell us everything we need to know. You feel me?
Let's let's go, bro. Let's go. Let's go.
All right, let's
You can
get it.
share it. You can share. You can share. I mean, hold up. You know what?
I got it. I got it up on my phone. We good.
Okay, let's go then. Let's go then. Let's go. Let's go. Just
All
touch
right,
on the musical instruments. I'll mute
so
my mic. Go ahead.
it says North American, Mesoamerican, Circum-Caribbean, South American cultures. Music was an important part of our lives of indigenous people throughout the Americas. For the most part, they used instruments to accompany singing, but some pre-contact Americans played the flute and the hunting bow as stringed instrument without vocal accompaniment. Man, that fuck that word. So dang, they said they used to play a flute with and a hunting bow, a string instrument without vocal accompaniment. That's cool. American Indians devised a number of percussion and wind instruments. Some of these, such as the drum and the panpipes, were also invented independently by people in many parts of the world. For example, the Aztec tongue drum, the percussa, the percussa of modern marimba, is similar to the tone drum developed by indigenous Africans. Okay, so they're talking about similar shit, but we already know where this shit come from. In North America, Indians of the Northwest Coast made drums by placing a plank over a pit in the floor. They made drums by placing a plank over the pit on the floor. They used drums made from wooden boxes and rattles, also made from wood. Some Northwest tribes played reed instruments that were shaped like tubes and contained one or more reeds. These instruments did not have finger holes. Instrument Indians of the Northwest Coast also used rattles that were made from rawhide that had shaped and filled with pebbles. California tribes used foot drums in order to make music, as well as split stick clappers and rattles made from turtle shells, gourds, lark cocoons filled with pebbles, or deer hooves. Deer hooves. Indians, man, we got a lot of reading to go. Y'all ready? God
Let's
damn.
get it.
All right. Indians of the Plateau region and the Great Basin played music on a hunting bow. The bow player held the string of the bow in his teeth and struck it with the stick, changing the shape of his mouth to vary the tone. Archaeologists believe that the hunting bow is only stringed instrument of the Americas. Oh yeah, that's what they think. Culture groups living in the North American Southwest played double-headed drums and foot drums and made rattles from gourds, turtle shells, and hollow horns. The the Anasazi, made hollow pottery shaped like sleigh bells that contained clay pellets. It is believed that the pattern for those pottery bells were the metal bells obtained through trade from Mesoamerican metal workers. Ashkenazi culture flourished from about 350 BC all the way to AD 1450 AD. All right. Indians of the Northwest, Northeast made music with Northeast. All right. Made music with wooden kettle drums and cane flutes. Plain Indians used drums and wind instruments. They made whistles and eagle bones and flutes from cedar, as well as rawhide rattles. In South America, musicians played panpipes. They also made music with pottery ocarinas that were often double, triple, or quadruple barrel. Many of these ocarinas and whistles were shaped in the form of animals. In addition, early South American potters made clay pots that, when filled with water and moved, produced whistling sounds. The Mochi, whose culture arose in what is now Peru in about 200 BC, made tambourines and gongs. Inca musicians had flutes called quinillas. Oh, man, fuck that word, man. All right. The Inca Empire was established in Andean region, what is now Peru, in about AD 1000. These flutes were made of reed or bone and could produce up to 5 notes. The Inca also developed also unique musical instrument, a short ceramic trumpet. It had no finger holes, but they could control the tones that they made in an innovative piece of musical technology that demonstrated a knowledge of acoustics. The hole through the center of the trumpet doubled back on itself, making S shape. This allowed the short trumpet to produce deeper tones that would one with a straight hole. Another instrument of the Inca was the chilichi, a copper disc that was hit with the two sticks. Right. This resembled the symbols of modern musicians, more known today about Aztec and Maya music than any other Mesoamerican culture group because they portrayed musicians on murals. We just read what murals was. When they painted on the walls of the major cities, such as the murals at Bonaparte, a Mayan city in what is now the state of Chiapas, Mexico. Mayan culture flourished in Mesoamerica from about 1500 BC all the way to 1500 AD. Oh, let me see what that noise was. Oh, somebody dropped out. Whatever. I'm gonna keep reading, man. Fuck it. Y'all good? Y'all with me? Everybody with me? Oh shit.
Let's go. Don't worry about it. Listen, man. Ain't nobody Dr. Seuss in here. I mean, like I said, you be the best reader, but everybody make mistakes. This ain't rehearsed. So listen, we gonna get this out. Whether you make I make mistakes all the time. So don't even worry about it, bro. No egos involved. This shit right here is about teaching. So let's go.
All right, let's work. The
I'm with you.
Maya and Aztec played trumpets shaped like tubes. These were often more than 2 feet long and were made of clay, wood, or cane. Sometimes they added a gourd to the tube to serve as a resonator. This is known as a mute today. Mesoamerican musicians also made trumpets from conch shells, which were used for both military and religious purposes. The Aztec made flutes of reed, bone, or clay. These flutes had mouthpieces and up to 5 holes. Aztec musicians played panpipes as well as ocarinas and whistles made from baked clay. They also played rasps made of notched bone. They produced and played metal tambourines and bells. The tonal instruments and bells were very important to the peoples of pre-contact Mesoamerica, who devoted much time developing alloys to produce bells with different tones. They also understood tone depended on the size of the bells. The Aztec considered drums sacred. Perhaps the most well-known Aztec instrument today is the toponatzli, a drum that was shaped like the barrel and made with 5 tongues.
Hmm.
What the fuck are they talking about?
That's
When struck, when struck with rub tipped mallets, produced different tones. See also latex. Oh shit, we invented latex too. We invented condoms. You heard? So let's go. The instrument served as the inspiration for the modern marimba. In addition to tempalasi, which is that drum that we just read about, because I can't pronounce that shit. The Aztec made drums with high heads that could be tuned. These were both single and double-headed. Aztec musicians also used small kettle drums that they beat with their hands. All right, man, we down to the last couple paragraphs. After conquest, Spanish priests in Mesoamerica and South America banned traditional music with an attempt to eradicate religious practices. Let me read that one more time. After conquest, Spanish priests in Mesoamerica and South America banned traditional music in an attempt to eradicate religious practices. Oh, okay. So they try to take our shit away. Within a short time, indigenous people were singing in Latin, except for some ethnographic recordings of North American Plain Indians and Southwestern music. The musical tradition of indigenous Americans was not an object of extensive study by ethnographers for many years. One reason for that is that they assumed that all music produced by American Indians were similar that the plains the plains and southwestern music represented all North American tribes. Another reason was that the musical compositions created by indigenous Americans were very different from those of the European music traditions. Most songs are petanatic. Oh, fuck that word, man.
Don't
And
worry about it.
melodies. Yeah. I ain't worried about that. Also, pentatonic means consistent of five tones. Melodies consisted of chains of major and or minor thirds. Ethnologists who judged the music throughout the Americas as being off key and offensive according to their own tastes refused to give it serious study. Despite the harsh judgments of ethnographers, the indigenous people of North America, Mesoamerica, and South America continue using their instruments to make music today. All right, man. Let's see. With the popularity of world music, people throughout the world are finally having opportunity to enjoy native music of, the Americas. All right, man. We finished.
So that ain't even look. So look, check it out, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I thought Africa created all the music. See how they lying? See how they fucking lying? We created all that shit. Like you said, on the Boma Park murals, you see them with fucking horns and shit blowing. So like I said, man, like I mean, this is epic right here, man. I hope a lot of people y'all appreciate this, man. We're done with the M's. Moving on to N's. You still with us, Jack? You're,
Yep. But we've been going for a little bit over 2 hours, haven't we?
yeah, you know what?
Yeah, I'm still
Yeah,
here though. But
Let's
yeah,
leave
you
it
know
at
what?
N.
we can start at ends and come in tomorrow, so that way we can just
Yeah,
let
we could do that. We
them,
could definitely do that because it's been a
Yeah.
heavyweight jam.
Can I? Can I? Hey, peace, everybody, man. Hey, let me ask y'all a quick question, right? I don't know if this has been told already, but a lot of things that these guys like to say is what would be the source of this information. So, could you
Right
guys?
here, right here. Look. Here go the sources right here. Look, see this? See this? Look, see this right here? It say sources for further reading. Donald Harrell. It say the Indians of North America, Chicago University, Chicago Press, hashtag Royal, whatever, Norman University of Oklahoma Press. You got the Aid, you got Ancient Civilizations of Peru, New York Penguin Books. You got all these are sources right here. All these are sources, and like I said, these guys are not credible. You want me to believe you, and you ain't got a book, nor where you deriving your sources from. And this is another one of these fucking like confusing arguments. Okay? If we can't use none of the sources to validate what we saying, then what are we supposed to use? We supposed to just be
Mm-hmm.
fucking sitting here meditating and just think the information gonna come to you and it's supposed to be true. But this is the game they play. Oh well, no. So you gonna trust the white man? So who are we supposed to trust? Who are we supposed to get any of this from? Like, what are we supposed to? What are we dealing with? That's what I'm trying to say. You got to deal with common sense first before you can call yourself a scholar or supposedly a teacher or anything. You got to have common sense first of all, foremost. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
all of these got sources. Every time
Well,
you read, every time you well, go ahead, Chief.
Well, here's another thing too, right? Shout out to Copper Color K, right? But we had a discussion, right? Something we wanted to talk about. That is something he had said, that he had called in on Sarnetta's and said this on that platform is basically time. We can't use the dating system that is currently in place for a lot of these things because some of these things were dated before they even had the technology or the calculator to calculate these dates and things like that or whatever. So a lot of these things are from his point of view, are all a part of the plan, all a part of evolution and things of that nature. So I kind of want you guys to address the calculations and the dates and things of that nature, whatever, and whether or not that's valid in the argument and conversation. Okay.
That's not my field of study, but the Jag was going in on it. Oh, did Jag drop out? Let me see something.
Yeah,
Well,
Jack dropped out.
Let me
well,
see
here's the
what.
thing, right? When we talk about dates and times, right? You
Nah,
can't have a conversation
Jag
without
back in
talking
here.
about
Jag in
date
here.
or time. Everything has an origin. Everything, right? Except
That's it.
for we don't have an origin. We just go back, right? Um, and also you can't give us a date if you don't believe in any time capsules or anything that cause that believes in time. So you can't say, oh, here's 10,000 years or whatever you having when humans have been here or whatever, right? So it's always interesting. So anytime that we were talking about not being able to use dates and times, because even in this right here, it has to have dates and times because that's my conversation in my head when I'm hearing when did this happen, and you're saying pre-Columbus, so we know that's 1400 and beyond. You know what I'm saying? Or 1492 and beyond, or further back, right? What you know what I'm saying? And they have what we were doing during this time period or whatever, right? So I'm just saying, are times valid? You know what I'm saying? Because I can ask your brother, does he have a birthday? Was he born? You know what I mean? Because that's a start date of a time period right there when you're born.
That's right. If
So
you
yeah,
can't
I mean, I'm
measure,
just saying though, like what how can we have a conversation without time? Even if they come up with say 3000 BC, right? Is it more time? Should it go further back? You know what I'm saying? It's really not about that to me at this point right now, because we already
but
know
you
we
know
we,
what
we
though,
was the only
Chief?
one here and we built it.
If
Huh?
we look at it in that, if we look at it in that point of view, right? No one can measure time because time is infinite. So how can you gauge time? And this is something that even we got to look at today. Like you got 24 hours and somehow they came up with 364 days, 365 days in a year, which makes a year. And then it goes on and on and on and on and on. So I mean, this is the way I look at it or whatever. But I don't believe you can gauge time. But when we talk about dating certain historical, certain historical things or whatever, you gotta have some type of, it got to be some type of dating that we can go off of. You can't say that none of this exists when the shit when these pyramids or these structures are older than 200 years, than 300 years, and you know what I'm saying? Like I said, it start getting confusing when you start playing around with the only measurements that we have to measure these particular structures. With that, I digress.
All I could say is that these niggas got a lot of homework to do. There's too many references and resources up in this encyclopedia, man. You know what I'm saying? Our grandma knowledge or whatever isn't good enough for them niggas, man. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't tell them nothing, and that's why the truth is going over. It's going overflow on these niggas, man.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, what he said? It was a 36-inch finger. So giants created the pyramids, right? Giants created the pyramids. But who the giants create the pyramids for? If the giants cannot walk into the pyramids, like I said, Chief, what are they? Doll houses? What did the giants create them for? Who did they create? Who did they create the pyramids for? So they created structures that they can't fit in just for show and tell. It just so happened that we can fit in them. Come on, man. Let's stop the foolishness. Some things you're gonna have to bow down to when it comes to this information, and you cannot sit there and try to refute it or try to create your own guidelines for it, man. Because it doesn't work that way. We have to have something to go off for until we create a different timeline to where we can change it. But until then, no, you shouldn't sit there and try to tear down everything that we got. That's the same thing what these guys do. Oh, you can't. First, you can use peer review. Then you can't use peer review. First, you can use this scientist. Then the scientist not good. But this is coming from people who ain't no scientists at all, who don't even know you're not a scientist, Garfield. You're not a scientist. The rest of these brothers, you just some learned individual, like a lot of other people. So you're not qualified to challenge of these people. Like I said, I don't give a lot of these Europeans credibility, but a lot of these Europeans is telling the truth on certain things that you have to be smart enough to say, well, how can somebody like Michael Creedmoor tell you that he found somebody that's 300 million years old? Now, he could be wrong about the time dating. He could be wrong about his time. But guess what? He's the expert and he's the one who made the claim. And can't no nigga who barely can speak English properly fucking could tear down somebody who been doing this for their whole lifetime. So, I mean, like I said, I'm in this video time right here. Because, like I said, this is more of educational, even though I'm cursing like a seller, but this is more for educational purposes as well as, you know what I'm saying? We want people to go back and be able to look through this and, and enjoy the accomplishments that we made, man, because this is a lot of accomplishments, bro. It's a lot of accomplishments, man. So
That's
I
a
like to
fact.
thank the brother
Mm-hmm.
P, as always, AP Power. Like to thank my brother Jaguar Omer, brother Chief Holiday, as always, and Jersey 77 for just reading that part with us, man.
Right.
Man,
We appreciate
like
you,
I
Mm-hmm.
said,
A1. Listen,
Word
we
up.
hey,
rock. We rock with you, brother. You already know, man. We the
Every
copper
day.
headhunters, and that's what it is. So Uga Uga, Bliss, Halito, Chimmy Chukma, all that good stuff to everybody in the chat. We all we got. Let's stick together, y'all.
man,
Mm, facts.
you want to say something, Jersey 77?
Shit, man. I was just about to speak, but I done lost my train of thought, man. AP said it best, man. Appreciate Chief Holiday. Appreciate everybody up in the chat room. Jag, AP, all day, little bruh. A1, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody else that's watching. If you new to this information, man, you got to get your hands on this book. You know what I'm saying? That black history that we learned up in high school, they ain't teach us about this shit right here. Shoes, moccasins, instruments, all of this shit. We know that we created the car, the computer. We know we created a lot of shit. But then you got this American encyclopedia that'll bust your ass. You right? And
Bro,
and, and it's some good ass shit, man. I've been reading this. So I advise everybody, if you consider yourself a Tonkinist Aborigine or whatever, and you looking to find out who you are, get your hand on this book, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's about it,
this
man.
It's epic. It's epic. You know what I'm saying? It's so much stuff we didn't touch on in which your ancestors created, but these people are riding off the rhythm of everything. They riding off, yo, we are the life force of this fucking planet, man. We're the life force of this planet as well as this damn country. Oh yeah, we know. We know the agents is here. And guess what, agents? We know. And you can, whatever you can do, you can try to stop it. But guess what? At the end of the day, if I don't do it, the next brother going to do it. And it's going to constantly be people coming out with this information, putting this information out there, whether you like it or not. The truth will be told. And you will be exposed for being the biggest fucking thieves on the planet, the biggest fucking murderers, the biggest every fucking thing that's negative. So, like I said, man, see the accomplishments that you made, the things that you created, everything. But yet they will tell you that you are a head. You're nothing but a rapper. You can't pull your pants up. Same people who eating tea sandwiches and having tea parties and shit ever on yachts and shit, they didn't create none of it. But they having a time of their motherfucking life, boy. They having a time of their life acting like they're so bougie, acting like they're so you know what I'm saying, so princey and so eloquently. But you're gonna be exposed for the demons and the fucking savages in which you really are. And like I said, history don't expose you as well as it should. Because if it did expose you, everybody would know exactly what you did to us over here, as well as you killed a lot of us, you know what I'm saying, with your diseases, as well as you killed a lot of us off on paperwork, and you're lying to the world telling us that we fucking Africans, and you keep on putting these fake ass Indians in our place for our ancestors. But one day the shit is gonna be over with when enough people find out and realize what the fuck you did, realize you lied to the world, you lied, you let the mongoloids have our titles and all of the accommodations that we made or whatever. The gig is up now. So I mean, just be prepared, man. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, man, this is the time for this one. This is the brother, like I said, I got the brothers on here. This is the Encyclopedia of the Aborigines of American contributions to the world. 15,000 years of innovation and inventions. And with that being said, man, peace, man. Love and light to everybody that's in the chat room. Remember, if you can, please go to my PayPal, donate. I don't care if it's $2. I don't care what it is. I need you guys' help so I can get this documentary out.
Right.
Tariq Nasheed did not do Hidden Colors by himself. He started a Kickstarter, which he raised $100,000, bro. I'm just asking for small help, as well as I got some merchandise out there in which I'm asking people who can afford it to please support me. You know what I'm saying? I want to get this documentary out there, and I need your help to do it. So if you guys can help, please send the donations to my PayPal account. I believe the brother Ghost, as well as the brother Killer White Supremacy, posted it in the comment, posted it in the chat. I appreciate you brothers for helping me, and I appreciate everybody else that's in the chat that come through faithfully, and you know what I'm saying, and stick by this information, man. No matter if we stuttering, no matter if we making mistakes with these words. Look, no one perfect, man. I'm not Dr. Seuss, and none of us are supposed to be doctor. None of this shit is rehearsed. None of this shit, everything we doing is straight from the heart, and we giving it to you in its rawest form. So with that being said, man, like I said, love and light to the Aborigines. With that being said, I'm out of here, man. It's time to this one. Peace.
Peace.